All right, ready to dive in. Today we're getting clean, exploring personal hygiene, but we're going deeper, looking at how it all ties into your libido.
Yeah, it's more than just staying fresh, right?
Mm.
Hygiene, confidence, relationships, even our sex lives, it's all connected.
Fascinating stuff. We've got some great sources lined up. First, we'll be looking at excerpts from a text all about hygiene and desire. And to get into the nitty-gritty, we've also got a transcript from a YouTube video, Dandelion Medical Animation, ready to bust some myths.
Oh, absolutely. I think we'll uncover some surprises too. So, have you ever thought about showering as a secret to a better love life?
Nah, maybe not the whole secret, but I'm listening. Feeling fresh helps with confidence, sure. But how's that going to lead to, a more active love life?
Well, the research shows maintaining good hygiene really does have a positive influence on libido. It's not just about covering up smells, it's about feeling good about yourself. That confidence really shines through, and it can be super attractive.
I see what you mean. It's like taking care of yourself shows you're worth taking care of.
Exactly. And this goes for everyone, not just one gender. Men and women can both see changes in their sexual desire because of hygiene.
So neglecting hygiene could really put a stop to things in the bedroom.
Unfortunately, yes. Discomfort, infections, even a lower libido, these can all be results of poor hygiene.
Not exactly romantic. Speaking of things that might not be so romantic, what about those scented products? There's a lot of marketing, especially for intimate hygiene. Do they really work?
A nice scent can be appealing for sure, but using heavily scented products, especially down there, can actually do more harm than good. It can cause irritation, allergies, and that won't help anyone's libido.
Some people love those scented products, though. How do we balance preference with being gentle?
That's where hypoallergenic products come in. They're designed to be less likely to cause allergic reactions, especially important for those more sensitive areas.
So ditch the harsh fragrances, go for gentle. Makes sense. What about douching? I think a lot of people, especially women, think it's necessary. What does the research say about that?
Time for another myth-busting session. Douching is often pushed as essential for women. But the truth is, it throws off the natural balance of bacteria in the vagina. It's self-cleaning, Douching can actually make you more likely to get infections, like bacterial vaginosis or yeast infections.
Huh, interesting. I wonder why the message about douching is so strong then.
It's probably a mix of marketing and old ideas about feminine hygiene. The science is pretty clear, though. The vagina cleans itself.
So hygiene is important for feeling confident and desirable, sure. But our expert source says it's bigger than just the bedroom.
Absolutely. Think of it in the big picture. Hygiene plays a huge role in overall health in our relationships. The message you send with your hygiene practices, it shows self-respect, consideration for the people around you.
And on the topic of health, the Dandelion Medical Animation video points out a really interesting link between oral hygiene and sexual health.
They mentioned that if you don't take care of your oral hygiene, it can lead to gum disease. And gum disease has been linked to erectile dysfunction in men. So, guys, brushing your teeth isn't just for a bright smile, it's about your overall well-being.
Wow, it's amazing how everything is connected. You wouldn't think brushing your teeth could have an impact on your sex life.
Right. And it's not just physical health either. There's a big social aspect to hygiene. One of our sources even mentioned a study that found people are more attracted to partners who make cleanliness a priority.
That makes sense. Definitely see the importance there. All right, ready to get a little personal? Let's talk smegma.
Okay, sensitive topic time. Hygiene is crucial, but some parts of it can be a little awkward to talk about. Smegma, for example. It's basically a buildup of dead skin cells, oil, and sweat.
And while it's not necessarily harmful, it can get, shall we say, a little unpleasant.
Yeah, if you don't clean it regularly, smegma can harbor bacteria and lead to some not-so-great odors.
Just to be clear, for the guys listening, smegma usually builds up under the foreskin for those who are uncircumcised.
And for women, it can happen in the folds of the labia. It's important to remember, smegma itself isn't bad. Not really a sign of poor hygiene. It's natural. Just got to keep it clean, prevent problems.
Right, stay on top of things. This brings up something interesting, though. Hygiene, it's so important, but kind of awkward to talk about, especially with a partner. Any advice on how to have that conversation?
Communication. That's the key. Being open, respectful, talking about hygiene that's vital in any relationship. If you avoid these conversations, it can actually build resentment, distance, really hurt the connection.
Yeah, I see that. It's like anything else in a relationship, right? If you don't feel comfortable talking about it, it's going to cause problems later.
Exactly. It's not just about problems, though. It's about preferences, too, making sure you're both on the same page when it comes to hygiene, expectations, all that.
So any tips for actually bringing up the topic? Make it less, awkward.
Well, timing is important. Don't bring it up when things are stressful or when you're both in a rush. Find a good time, relaxed, private, where you can really talk openly and honestly.
Makes sense. What about the tone? It's got to be sensitive, not like you're accusing them of something, right?
Absolutely. Approach it from a place of care, concern for both of you. Instead of saying, you need to shower more, try something like, hey, I've noticed you've been so busy lately. Is there anything I can do to help you feel more refreshed?
Oh, I like that. It's like working together to make things comfortable for both of you.
Exactly. And remember, listening is important too. Be open to what your partner has to say.
So open communication, respect, understanding, that's key. Kind of like the foundation of any good relationship, right?
Right. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Practical tips. What are some hygiene habits everyone can benefit from?
We've covered a lot, but yeah, a recap is always good.
The Dandelion medical animation video, it's a great guide. Shower or bathe regularly. Use a gentle cleanser. Dry off completely. Those are the basics. Washing those outer genital and anal areas daily. Warm water, mild soap, that's super important too.
And guys, if you're uncircumcised, gotta remember to retract the foreskin, clean the head of the penis. That's how you prevent that smegma buildup.
Right. And while we're talking about, sensitive areas, hair removal, shaving, trimming, especially in those spots that get sweaty, armpits, groin, it can really help with odor control, just feeling fresh.
And clean clothes, that's a given, of course.
Absolutely. These might seem basic, but they make a huge difference. Good hygiene, preventing infections, boosting confidence, it all ties together.
And as we've been talking about, that confidence, it can have a ripple effect on your relationships, your libido, everything. It makes me wonder, we've talked about physical hygiene, mental hygiene, but what about the hygiene of our environment? Could a clean, organized space make you feel more confident, more attractive?
That's an interesting thought. I'm not sure about specific research on that, but it makes sense intuitively. Our surroundings definitely affect our mood, our state of mind. A cluttered, chaotic space that might stress you out, make you feel overwhelmed. But a clean, organized space that could bring a sense of calm, control,
And if you feel calm, in control, maybe you're more likely to feel confident, attractive too.
It's definitely possible. It would be interesting to look into that more. Maybe a future deep dive topic.
Adding it to the list. But before we go too far, let's bring it back to today's deep dive recap for our listeners.
Sounds good. So we've learned that good hygiene isn't just about how you look. It's about feeling good, preventing infections, building those healthy, fulfilling relationships.
And remember, good hygiene, it's more than just a shower and brushing your teeth. Gentle products, hypoallergenic, especially for intimate areas, no douching.
We also talked about those scented products. They're not always better. A nice scent is fine, but you got to make sure it won't irritate your skin, especially sensitive areas.
And of course, smegma, that often unspoken topic. It's natural, but keep it clean. No one wants things to get unpleasant.
Communication in relationships, that was a big one too. Being open, honest about your hygiene preferences that can prevent so many misunderstandings, really strengthen your bond.
And maybe the biggest takeaway, taking care of your mental hygiene, it's just as important as the physical stuff. Stress, anxiety, that can really mess with your libido, your relationships. So make time for things that help you relax, feel good.
This deep dive has been really interesting, exploring all these connections, hygiene, confidence, health, relationships. It's all intertwined.
And who knows, maybe it's given you some new things to think about. Maybe you'll try some new hygiene practices, talk to your partner, even look into that connection between your environment and your libido. Who knows?
Whatever you take away from this deep dive, remember, taking care of yourself inside and out, that's an investment in your well-being, your happiness.
And that wraps up our exploration of hygiene and libido. Thanks for joining us, and remember, stay curious, stay clean, and stay connected.
It really is amazing, right? Something so simple like hygiene.
Yeah.
It can have such a big impact on our lives.
Totally. It's like it starts with us, our bodies, and then ripples out to our relationships, how we feel about ourselves, everything. Makes you think, We've talked about hygiene for our bodies, our minds, but what about our spaces? Could a clean and organized house, could that make you feel more confident, more attractive?
That's a good question. I haven't seen specific research on that, but it makes sense, Our environment, it definitely affects how we feel. If everything's cluttered and messy, it can stress you out, make you feel overwhelmed. But a clean space, organized, that can be calming, like you're in control.
And if you feel calm, in control, yeah, maybe you'd feel more confident, more attractive too.
Could be.
Yeah.
Worth exploring, for sure. Maybe a deep dive for another day.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
But okay, let's bring it back to today's deep dive. Recap time for our listeners.
All right, so main takeaway. Good hygiene, it's not just about appearances. It's about feeling good, preventing infections, having those healthy relationships.
And it's more than just showers and brushing your teeth. Gentle products, hypoallergenic, especially for those intimate areas. And no douching, remember?
Right. We talked about scented products too. They're not always the best. A nice scent is okay, but make sure it's not going to irritate your skin, especially sensitive spots.
Smegma, gotta talk about it. It's natural, but stay on top of cleaning. No one wants things to get messy.
Communication in relationships, that's so important. Talking openly about hygiene, what you like, what you don't like, it prevents problems down the road, helps you connect with your partner.
And I think one of the biggest takeaways, mental hygiene, just as important as physical hygiene. Stress and anxiety, it can really affect your libido, your relationships, so find ways to relax, do things that make you feel good.
It's been fascinating exploring all these connections, hygiene, confidence, health, relationships, they all tie together.
And hey, maybe this has given you some new ideas. Maybe you'll try some new hygiene routines, talk to your partner, even explore that idea about your environment and libido. You never know.
Whatever you take away from this, just remember, taking care of yourself, inside and out, that's what matters. It's an investment in your well-being, your happiness.
And on that note, that's a wrap for our deep dive into hygiene and libido. Thanks for listening, and remember, stay curious, stay clean, and stay connected.